Hey guys, it's Loot Wizard here with another video on Gems of War, and in this one I am going to go over a team that I've been using in PvP right now, testing out the new mythic troop that's out this week, as well as the craftable Doomed Club weapon in the Soul Forge. So using these two together, I put together a team that I think works okay. It's a little bit slow, but when it really comes together, it's pretty good. So I have Champion of Gaard at the top because he is very tanky. He reduces damage from spells by 50%, reduces damage from skulls by 60%, and then he's giving himself 1 to each stat every turn because he boosts red allies and he uses the red mana color. Now, as for his ability, he gains 50 armor when he's cast, and if there's 13 or more skulls, he gives himself double armor, so it would be 100 instead of 50. Then he creates a mix of 22 blue and red gems. Now some of those red gems will fill itself back up, and as for the blue that he will create, it will fill up the apothecary. Now in the second place, I am using the Doomed Club weapon, which is craftable in the Soul Forge this week, and I do recommend that if you don't have this weapon and you can afford it with the diamonds that it costs to craft it, go ahead and do that because it is an excellent weapon. It does high spell damage to all enemies, and then it creates doom skulls from all the green gems on the board. It also gives itself 3 mana for each brown enemy, so if the enemy does have some troops that use brown mana, for each one of those it will gain 3 mana back when it is cast. Now, in the third spot, I have the Apothecary, which am using as a mana generator for brown, which should fill up my weapon. So, what it does is it transforms a selected mana color to brown, cleanses all allies, low mana cost, and so I can fill up the Doom Club with Apothecary, and any brown that I have that will go over that will fill up Obsidius, which is another mythic troop that came out a couple of months ago. And I've been using this troop with skull teams because of one important thing, and that is that its trait here says that it stuns all enemies on 4 or 5 gem matches. Now, when you use Apothecary, a lot of times you will be able to get a 4 or 5 match because you're selecting a mana color to transform it to brown. So when I do get that 4 or 5 match, every enemy troop will be stunned. Now, what does stun mean? It basically removes its traits for a certain amount of time, which is really good for a skull team because a lot of times the enemy will have certain troops, especially at the top, that reduce skull damage. So, for example, Gorgotha, and there are certain other tanky troops. Now, let's just take my troop here, for example. I have this at the top because of its traits, which makes it a tank. Now, if it was stunned, it would remove the effect of these traits, and so it would take 100% damage from spells and 100% damage from skulls, just like a normal troop that didn't have those traits. So that's why I think Obsidius is really important in this team setup, simply because of the stun trait that it has. So that will allow me to do full skull damage once that goes off. And a lot of times that'll happen even when you cast your Doom Club weapon because it will create possibly 4 matches when you do that as well. So you've got potential to stun. And this is very tanky because it has these traits, and it's going to give itself armor every time you cast it. Plus, this will generate mana for itself and for Apothecary, and then you can use the Apothecary troop to create brown mana to fill up your Doom Club, and you can just keep doing that over and over. As for the banner, I am using the Kraken banner so that I have double for brown to fill up my weapon, and 1 to blue so that Apothecary fills up quicker. So I'll go in and show you here. This enemy is really just kind of a dummy enemy because it's basically free money. You just have to finish off these chalices, but it works for kind of showing you what this team does. So, here we go. I filled up Apothecary already. And we got to make sure we can get all of our 4 or 5 matches so we don't miss any of those. And then here we go. I can cast this. Now, I got to see here, do I have any kind of 4 matches? And I do. I have right here a purple. And if the troops weren't already, or if the enemy troops here weren't already stunned, they would be when I matched this. Now, as you can see, that filled up the weapon, and all the brown that overflowed went right into Obsidious. So I can actually do damage and generate more mana with Obsidious down there. Now, this weapon is full, so now I have to look for, do we have any green gems matching up with skulls? And we actually do right here. We don't have a 4 match, which would be the best, but we do have this 3 match. So we're going to go ahead and cast this. And that'll do some skull damage. And we have some leftover skulls. We can kind of clean it up a little bit. And I don't have any more green matching, so I'm not going to cast this time. But we can cast Obsidious here. We can get rid of that last troop. Alright, now let's go test it out on a team that's actually going to fight back. So 4 Dragon Souls. As hilarious as that is, I think I want to fight a team that actually has 4 different troops. Now, this is a pretty standard OP skull team right here with Rope Dart, Divine Ishbala, Keelan, and Moonrabbit. You do have to have Rope Dart to really make it work great, but yeah, that team is pretty OP as far as the skull team goes. A lot of people are using that. I don't think I have a chance of defeating it with my team. We could try. The only thing that might save me is the stun. But Rope Dart is pretty OP because it destroys an armor, deals basically true damage, and it pulls an enemy to the front. So he can really mess up my order of troops here. And that's just a really nasty team to fight. I don't feel like going up against that right now, so. A lot of people here in this week are creating. We could try this one. The only thing I don't like about this here, Dawnbringer shouldn't be that hard to kill with skulls. And Gorgotha won't be too much of a problem because I can stun it. But Yao down here is going to be really a pain. And he's got Leprechaun, so he's going to be able to cast that immediately and get green mana to fill up Yao. Dawnbringer's blocking red, but the green, it's going to fill up pretty quick. Yeah, I might lose this, but let's just try. And of course, whatever class he's got going, he's got the Merfolk class, and he froze my first troop here, so all of my red, green, and yellow mana, if I have any 4 matches while that's frozen, I will lose my extra turn, which is unfortunate. So we'll see. Let's see if I can get Apothecary up here. Now, they're all stunned, which is great. You know, that removes all of these different traits. His Gorgotha should not have any skull reduction at all. So that's fantastic. Because we can do full skull damage to it then and get rid of it pretty quick. Yeah, let's get this here, and unfortunately Dawnbringer just put barrier on everything. And also, unfortunately, I don't have any skulls matching with green, so I still don't have enough green and skull matchups. And of course, every time Gorgotha is cast, it's going to generate so much mana for him, so. But we do have a green here. It's not a 4 match, but let's give it a try. And also, unfortunately, the stun wore off on Gorgotha, so yeah, that's not cool. But we're getting lucky here with a bunch of 4 and 5 matches. Now, let's see. I don't have enough green to match up with. Well, actually, I do have a 3 match here, plus it's going to do spell damage. Let's just do that. See if I can get rid of Dawnbringer. Almost. Now, we could give ourselves an extra turn and fill up the weapon again. Because we have Apothecary here. Let's do that real quick. And that gave us some green here with skulls. So this should absolutely... Well, yeah, it will absolutely kill Dawnbringer with the spell damage. And then I should be able to kill Yao with the skulls. Yep. And yeah, then we got a cascade of skull there to kill that last guy. So, as you guys can see, this team, it does work. It's a little bit slow, but I think the strategy is there to make the troops and the weapon work pretty good together. Now, obviously, you're going to struggle against some enemy teams. Like this enemy team here is pretty powerful because of this weapon. This is one of the better faction weapons that's out there. Which steals life from the last 2 enemies and then death marks them. Which occasionally death mark can be a real pain because just randomly your troop will die no matter how much life and armor it has. So then of course Weaver is always an annoying troop to go up against because web reduces all your magic to 0. It also does true damage, and then if it kills one of your enemies, it explodes gems, and it has a 75% chance to summon a web spinner. So yeah, that team's pretty nasty to go up against. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good team. I've been using it, but in PvP, but I haven't had. I would say I win maybe 50% of the time with it, because a lot of these other teams are just fine-tuned with these really cookie-cutter OP troops. But yeah, I mean, this team has still been pretty fun for me. So I thought I'd share that with you guys, and I'll be messing around with some other teams with the Mythic troop as well, and the Doomed Club weapon, and I'll probably upload some videos on that later this week, hopefully. So thanks again for watching, guys, and later.